This morning, through our affiliation with STLtoday.com, we've had the first ever Skype interview on STLtoday.com at 6 o'clock this morning with Jim McKelvey. We just Skyped with Goldie live from Washington University, able to see the pictures of Brookings Quad right there. And now, through the wonders of technology, we're going to go to the Deerberg's parking lot on Manchester and check in with St. Louis Post-Dispatch editorial board member Deb Peterson. Deb, good morning.
Good morning, McGraw. So I am in the Deerberg's parking lot after a 25-minute effort to get to KTRS studios from Skinker and Clayton Roads. And I couldn't get onto Highway 40, so I went to 44, and I get to 44, and I'm on 270 headed north, and it's a parking lot. So I thought, you know what, I just better get off and forget about appearing with you on TV today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Deb Peterson learning for the first time that there is actually traffic in the mornings here in St. Louis.
I'm usually headed east. Well, I thought west, but I was on the road for half an hour. I gave myself plenty of time. It's not my fault that today was a WashU graduation, and there was some sort of an accident, I believe, on 40.
It's a wonder how you ever got your daughter up and out of the house and to graduate with planning like this.
Excuse me, not just my daughter, but my daughter and two sons. Those were some pretty hectic mornings, I can assure you.
Well, Diane Troyan Kagi, bailed on the Skype broadcast. She didn't want to put her face on this morning.
Oh, why?
She didn't want to put her face on. Talk to her. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know, but I did go and watch the Breakfast with Bernie shows, and he puts his face on there.
Bernie puts his face on there. That's right. Breakfast with Bernie.
Bernie can do it. Why can't Diane? Bernie puts his face in a little corner of his silver radiator, which had a Rick Majerus picture on it, which I thought was
I was watching it, and he had a Colts helmet on one of them, so he must change that on a daily basis.
He must change it. That's a prop.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, good morning, and if we can talk about the news for a minute.
Yes, what's the big breaking news?
Well, the best news for today is that it's the final day of the Missouri legislative session. And if we're lucky, the legislators cannot do much more harm to Missouri's economy and Missourians than they have already done. So they have left children and senior citizens in the lurch by, sending the circuit breaker bill to Governor Nixon, but was so egregious, had so much stuff in it that he has, vetoed it.
Don't you find it interesting that the Republican Party down in Jefferson City has a veto-proof majority? They don't even need the governor, and they're doing less than they've ever done?
I do not understand. I just cannot tell you how I don't understand House Speaker Tim Jones's agenda, or I don't get what he's trying to accomplish. He has failed miserably, and yet he continues in this wrong direction. You think if things are not working for you, you'd try a new direction. They're slashing any kind of bills that help people. They're larding them up. It's just terrible. And then, they're going to pass the tax cuts. Well, the tax cuts are really corporate welfare. They're not going to help you and me and all the, little people in the state. Why do this? We're headed the way of states that we have always sort of looked at as having bad government policies. So it's a mess. And,
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm glad it's over. I hope they're not back for a special session for something bad, because it'll give them more opportunities to do inappropriate.
I love the fact that these guys get elected talking about we're going to bring sanity to government, can't pass anything during the regular session, so have to order a special session.
The real problem is money in government. I mean, really, if there could be, which there won't be, but if there could be campaign reform, genuine campaign reform that took money out of politics, we would all be much better. Liberal, conservative, I don't care what stripe you are. Just get the money out of government and we'd do a lot better. We'd get people who were running government for the right reasons, who weren't there posturing so they could get some cushy lobbying job once they're done. It's offensive, and it goes on and on and on.
Let me ask you this question. Is the editorial board going to have a comment on Larry Connors?
I doubt it. I mean, poor Larry. You've been the victim of an IRS.
I'm on Larry's side on this. Well, Larry sort of opened the door for himself. little bit.
I don't understand why Larry said what he said. I know Larry's a nice guy. I've always, I don't know him well, but
Right.
I know him, he's a nodding acquaintance.
Right.
And, I don't know why don't you pay your taxes? And is it really that he didn't pay his taxes? It certainly sounds like that. But why would you blame it on an interview with the president?
When you've had tax problems for years.
For years. It's not as though nobody's going to catch on. I don't understand. I don't know. It's people make these statements in public, and he's in
real
TV
trouble.
for 30 years, and now, it's like that. And I really hope for his sake that he doesn't lose his job. That it's looked upon as a misstep, and he just spoke out of turn. Or
I
whatever.
agree. I hope he doesn't lose his job, and I hope Channel 4 does the right thing because, as you know, institutional memory walking out the door is a bad thing.
It is a bad thing.
Yeah.
And we don't have many seasoned broadcasters left in town, and I like them. I think they serve a purpose.
That's right.
There you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Deb Peterson. Hopefully she'll be able to Skype with us one of these days or actually make it here into the studio on time.
I'm thinking next Friday when there's no graduation, it won't be a problem. What do you think?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's Deb Peterson from the editorial board of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Tony Messenger's on the show Wednesday, by the way.
Yeah, well, he'll probably get in there early because he comes from farther west than you are.
Deb, have a good weekend.
Bye, McGraw.
8:50 on the Big 550 KTRS. Also at KTRS.com. Also at STLtoday.com/McGraw. The pictures flying through the air on our hometown newspaper's website, STLtoday.com. Deb Peterson sits on the editorial board of that newspaper. We'll talk to Mike Kelly, talk a little sports next on KTRS.